Good afternoon. We are here once again for the final stretch. We are going to stretch it out as graciously as we can so that you feel relaxed. You have been satiated. You've taken in a tremendous amount of information. We want you to sit back and relax. If you want to lie down on the floors, we're going to soothe you a bit this afternoon, fill in some blanks, and help you come to understanding. We have chastised you plenty. You know what our intentions are. You know we are not going to poo-poo you and coddle you into awareness. You realize now what is required of you. So let's have a good time this afternoon. Chet said he wants to have some talks about good sex. We can enlighten you on this a little bit. The Pleiades, of course, are on the back of the bull, Taurus. Taurus is a very sensual, sexual sign. And of course, you are sensual, sexual creatures. And it is this sensuality and sexuality that allows you to enjoy your experience on Earth. And Earth is a paradise. Understand this. And it is going through a lot of restructuring, eliminating, realization. And in this process of waking up and realizing what you have been a part of course things have to change. Of course things are going to fall away. But it is you and your soul's commitment to come to Earth and to learn about Earth. You are the generators of this energy. We are not creating the events that are happening on Earth, although we are co-creators with you. We have arrived into your system again at the early part of the nanosecond to help guide you through this. And we have made agreements with many souls to be teachers of a voice of reason, a voice of guidance, to give you a bigger picture, to encourage you, to sometimes scold you and chastise you when you are off course or being foolish or whining, and to reward you and applaud you for your courage and your bravery and your understanding. And you reach this exalted state sometimes of understanding and liberation through difficulty. And you have, by this Sunday afternoon here in Sedona, you've really expanded your horizons as to what is possible through personal stories and shared stories and our vehicles tidbits and what we are saying. And of course Mr. Chet has been tying things together for you. This has been a very cooperative weekend, and it is spring today, and everything is going to move forward very quickly. The springtime represents the moving of energy. And so what a perfect weekend. A perfect choice for you to understand the story. The dark part, the light part, the possibilities, the pain and the cosmos on Earth. And to put it all together and to say to yourself, well look, I'm figuring it out. I want to be here. I want to work in my body. I am safe. Things may be very tumultuous, but look, I am existing in safety and harmony. And right now, there are places in the world where people are very frightened. Guns are going off and people have no food and they have to defecate in the streets. And this is many places around the world. People are losing their minds. And as someone, Michelle, we believe, said to our vehicle at one point, she said, well, the P's warned us for years that we would come into a time of deep mental instability. And she said, I guess we are here now. You are here now. This is part of the destabilization to create a new balance, not a new world order. We do not see the criminal elements that are operatives of this, let's say, Illuminati battle, we do not see them succeeding. That is very good news. However, we see too many foolish decisions on parts of people thinking that they are going to fight their way through this. That is what disturbs us, not from you, but perhaps from other people on earth. This is why we are a bit hard on you to raise your vibration, to demonstrate peace, not to go broadcast it, but to hold these frequencies higher in your own body and get off those devices so that you can then broadcast to others and stabilize them. Because you cannot see the effects of your energy fields, we empathize with you. You have no idea how much power you have. So in many cases, you are trusting us and what we say as a validation of what's going on. And we've been waiting for quite a number of years for humans to pop a little further and for you to activate greater visual acuity. Then in this capacity, you will have greater faith. Greater visual acuity means you would either see energy fields going out or having a greater sense of direct results, and it's still been in incremental stages. There will come a time when enough of you get off the devices and onto your own and really value it, you will pop something. And you will reach a certain level, a certain frequency, a number, if you call it. They used to have a term for it. It was called 100th monkey. You get the right number and then it triggers all else. And we are not kidding when we say sense of urgency. So this is what's driving us this weekend, because we know we get the committed and some of the best who come to Sedona, and we know if we broadcast it here in the red rocks, the rocks will broadcast out what gets accomplished here. You follow how this works? All over. And you take it home, and you maybe perhaps will make a little sacred space in your yard, if you haven't done so already. If you don't have a yard, and you have simply a condo or an apartment, if you have a patio or balcony or someplace in your apartment, make a little sacred space. You can put anything you want in it. Things that are special to you. A special book, a special crystal. You might want to, when no one's looking, find a special rock in Sedona. Take it home with you. Not a boulder, a rock. And have it in this special place as a reminder. You can go periodically and just hold that rock and touch the rock, and it will reconnect you with what has occurred here and what is going on in Sedona. If you have a favorite picture, you can put that picture there. We want you all to make something a little special. If you have yard, this is good. Build some rocks, put some objects on it, put a crystal out there. Learn to have a space that is a sacred space where you have incense to burn, and when you use this space, you have gratitude and appreciation, and you use this altar or space outside as a bounce off of who you are, to connect with all the others who want to stabilize the planet. This would be a good idea. Remember, you have homework to come up with 22 to 25 words that have the letters A and U in it. Anu, you are looking for Anu words. Again, yesterday we said Luna, January. We will give you a clue. We gave someone 2 gold stars, and we are very chintzy on gold stars. But she came up, she did her homework, she mailed it to us from the Washington State. Her name is Danielle. She mailed it, her list of words, and she came up with the award-winning word, 2 gold stars. You want us to tell you what the award-winning word is? It's a brilliant word. Listen to them, they're too funny. All right. All right, how about we play a game? We'll telepath it to you now. Anyone get it? All right. 2 gold star word. You're going to be very surprised as to what it is. 3, 2, 1. We told you we are going to have fun this afternoon. Peanut.
Oh yeah.
But not only A-N-U, it has Ia in it as well. Ia, which is Enki's name. Manure? That's a very good one. We use that word all the time. All right. It's quite explicit. And without manure, you wouldn't have fertilizer, remember. So there is a point to some of the wasteful products. All right. So that's your homework. Remember to write on little sticky notes. That's write out conditions and to build a little sacred space. And perhaps over the next hour, we'll come up with about 6 more assignments. We are big on homework. And you know, the busier you are with creating things and doing things, it starts to activate the higher mind. And that is the intention. We are not going to give you 6 more, but there may be 1 or 2 if they roll off of us. So let's intend for some laughs, good time, good questions. How can we inspire you and tie things up and keep you going? Let's hear from some people who have not spoken. What's a good question?
Hi, Peace. I'm curious.
Who is it?
My name's Cindy.
Cindy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm curious to know if other ET races have been responsible for our genetic experiences, genetic makeup.
Well, this is a good question, Cindy. She wants to know, are other ET races involved in the genetic experiment of Earth? Being that you are a living library, you are a magnet for all manner of ET races. It's not that these libraries are everywhere. And again, much life is purposely developed to fit into the ecosystem of Earth and then slowly introduced. The thing about life forms is that they may share a reality, yet they may move into various probable realities around a solid reality. This is an important concept to understand. So yes, we Pleiadians and many other star characters have certainly been attracted to Earth. We have, as Pleiadians, over time, serendipitously, let us say, or even a bit covertly, have played our part in attempting with intentions to upgrade the human dilemma after the Anunnaki rearrangement. The problem is that the Anus have invaded many star systems in this sector of the galaxy. You are part of the Milky Way galaxy. You are on the fringe, the outer arms. The center is, as we've mentioned, 25, 26, 30,000 light years away. And the Anus are located, let's say, in this sector. Have they gone to other places? Yes, and sometimes they get their rear ends kicked out by other forces, or they can't deal with them. They have been, in some regard, what's the term you use? Isolated, quarantined, blocked off by frequency. So some forces in the cosmos have simply put up energetic walls, a good way of saying it, that the Anunnaki, even in their sophistication, cannot penetrate. When you are of a divide and conquer, tyrannical type of energy, your advancements only go so far. And advancements in technology, it's like having money to buy toys. That's not a big deal, to have advancements in technologies. And the Anus have technologies that everything that you have is still preschool compared to what they have. And they want to introduce some of these super dupers to your planet, yet still keep people mostly primitivos. What they're really after is to reestablish the space program so that payloads of whatever can continue in the old way to be delivered to Mars, Moon, etc., and that they can continue on their hybridization programs, their DNA programs, etc. Other ETs have attempted to upgrade, stop, steal, piggyback, come in. It is quite challenging to live in a genetic library. There are many ways you can take shape and form. On Earth, of course, it is this, what you relate to as this current version of the human form. But there have been many versions of this bipedal version of what you call humanity. You are simply a refined gem in existence that is switched off. And we are here, along with many, many others, who do not make their presence known. We are sort of front people for them, if you want to call us people, front energies for them, to do our job. We are not at the top of any pyramid. We have others to answer to. And you would not even comprehend. That's why sometimes we say, oh, say that louder when you pay us a compliment, or you say we've done something good. We say, did you hear that, our teachers? Just as you want to improve, we also have a duty to perform. And we have those that guide us and answer to us. But they are far beyond what you can conceive. And we, and they, and many others, are concerned that life forms will be lost. And that data that is stored inside the life forms would be eradicated. The Anunnaki understand some of this, and yet on another end they are brutes. It's not a judgment, but they lack refinement. Yet remember, they brought culture to your planet in their terms. Was there culture on your planet prior to their incursion 500,000 years ago? Yes, there have been many cultures on Earth. And there have been many human-like creatures who have walked Earth of all sizes. You come in many varieties. Who else has a question?
Connie.
Who is it?
Connie.
Connie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Our pleasure.
You have said that when we're getting ready to incarnate,
Yes.
that we might incarnate in the future from now or in the past from now.
Yes, people have found that fascinating.
Well, I'm wondering if we incarnate in the past and we have family members who incarnate with us, so we have a group to be with.
You always incarnate in groups. You are not... It's rare for someone to take a shot into reality without soul buddies. Continue.
And we take what we've learned in this lifetime with us to an incarnation in the past. It seems like it would change the past then. So everything seems so much more dynamic than I've ever thought of it before.
And that is well said. But the thing is, the trick is remembering.
Well,
That's the trick, remembering, and then coming into a culture where it's cultivated and accepted that as the soul and the individual matures, that they bring multi-timeline wisdom with them. Once this acceptance is understood, then everything changes. But the Anus, for example, in the Eastern world, they encourage the idea, or they allow the idea of reincarnation. But then they say you are going to reincarnate into the same cast again and again. So they spin it. And anything about reincarnation and living again and again was edited out and redacted from many documentations. This is something that in order to control or recycle the souls of humans, the Anus did not want you to know that you had freedom, and the lockdown of the DNA and the brain capacity, you bring it in. And if it's not cultivated, it's difficult to activate those memories. So changing the now, where the most power is to make the change, not because you are in it, because of the celestial milieu, the celestial environment, because of alignments with the galactic center and closing of many time cycles. Again, a rare gem in time where souls have the opportunity to advance to large, massive degrees. That's why we are insistent in saying, if you blow it, it'll be a long, long, long time before the players and the situation can be recreated. In certain terms, you have incredible freedom and comfort to explore these ideas. You are not under duress. You are not going to be punished, rounded up, penalized, inquisitions. This is a rare window to make this happen. And some of you, after you decease this now, you may not want to incarnate into the future for a while. You may find comfort and great purpose into incarnating into one of your favorite past locations and helping raise the vibration there. And ideally, ideal is a big distance from real, you would be able to realize what the soul's accumulation is, and to have love, real love, stability, family, pleasure, high level of the arts and understanding, and to be able to work with energy and restore the beauty of Earth. That's a distinct possibility. Anything else, Connie?
Well, it seems like I've always thought of time like maybe a train going down a track from one end to the other, and it just keeps on going, and wherever that train is now. But considering that we can incarnate ahead of it or behind it, I'm now thinking of it more like a spiral, and maybe the spiral, you might not have the exact same past that was there the last time you experienced it, because if you come in with more experience, everything's going to be different, so it'd be another place on the spiral.
Yes.
But it would still be sort of that same territory or the same geography or something. Does that make sense?
Yes, and in many ways we have said we come from the future to redo a past. We cannot create it. We cannot manipulate your reality, but we certainly can seed it. And if we can get the players to play out some of these ideas that will create safety and joy and a bit of relaxation and improve your life, then our investment in your now is the intention that out of your now, a blossoming of consciousness stops the tyranny that is growing in our now in the future. It's difficult for the P to wrap its listing little tendencies around this concept. Yet this is a way of understanding reality. Who else has a question? Who is it?
Michelle.
Who is it?
Michelle.
Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you. Wondering if you could talk about implants. So
About?
implants.
Etheric
Etheric implants.
Implants?
Yes, so them in general, and also wondering if there are some blocking our DNA from reawakening.
Well, the implants fall under the abduction scenarios. The implants are sometimes for tracking mechanisms, just as you put devices on eagles and fish and wolves to understand their habitat and their movements. And sometimes we believe eagles have had cameras attached to them so that you could see what the eagle is doing. Understand these technologies for study. Of course, they hamper your biology to some degree, and there have been different individuals who specialize and have taken some of these implants physically out of the body to have them analyzed in different laboratories, etc. The general consensus is that no one knows what the substance is. It's a form of compounds that are not familiar to your planet. Of course, this would be obvious that any manner of extraterrestrial implant would be foreign material to what you are familiar with here. The interesting thing that people have shared when they recollect their memories, sometimes they remember lying on a table. And again, these abductions or these implants can take place while your body's in the bed. And a dream body of sorts can be taken up, worked on, and then reinfused with your physical body. And what people have reported that frightens them so much is they have strange ETs, often with big heads, the slanted eyes, doing work on them. Sometimes they have seen reptiles in the periphery. But what really frightens them is they have seen humans in military uniforms standing there watching while the ETs do the operations. Some of these ETs doing the operations, many of them, are biological constructs. They are what you would call organic robots. Understand, if the Anus in their advancement can genetically take this splice and put it together, their advancement in robotics is beyond what you can conceive. They can create beings that are walking among you, that you have no idea they are not human. They are biological robots. And they are controlled and report to some higher ranking of the Anus. The Anus, and in running their empire, they have found that if they use their genetic tools not simply to make their workers, but to make layers of workers that carry out their tasks. So allegedly you spring from the biological root source of the DNA that can have sex and reproduce and make a human worker, a human experience. These ETs that appear to follow a protocol of operations and carrying out scientific experimentation, they are not independent thinkers. They are, to some extent, machines or clones that are given a certain amount of autonomy to carry out tasks that are very sophisticated and far beyond what your humans are capable of doing. But they are programmed to do this. And this is one of the most disturbing things that you could find in your unfolding future, is that there could be an infusion on your planet suddenly of robotics of various shapes and sizes that have nothing to do with metallics. And they are programmed and run from way up. So the drones that you have that are zooming around and spying on you, little ones, big ones, etc., this is sort of the military being given the technology to have a bit of fun. And of course, R&D in any military organization is always based on ET technology, or looking for the geniuses, because they know that if someone is super smart, au naturel, let us say, and they have a good IQ and a good brainwave connection, they can be co-opted and set up so that a higher force of energy can then operate through a super intelligent being, and then things can go further and further. It is so beyond quality of life. And it's a disruption. What's happening on Earth is a disruption that is felt in this sector of the cosmos. Why do you think we are here? Why do you think the others come to help you? Yet we can't rescue you. We have to educate you. As if we educate your souls and educate you in the human form, you won't fall for this again. If you are rescued, then you will just recreate it all over again, because you will be rescued in ignorance rather than to earn your way into intelligence. Who has a question?
Kathleen?
Who is it?
Kathleen?
Kathleen.
Actually, my question relates to that. When the Anunnakis were putting together their...
Much louder.
When the Anunnakis were putting together their slave race for gold mining, why were they concerned about the ability of their creations to hold a soul?
Well, because there is a soul or an animated spirit in all forms of life. Without the soul...
But I'm not understanding why they wouldn't be happy with the same type of robotic beings that carry out abductions that are soulless.
Oh, let's say that they have evolved. And over time, now what you are seeing behind the scenes is the sophistication of their evolution, moving to advanced robotics and organics. Atlantis, as you understand it, was a long period of experimentation of what works and what doesn't here on the Living Library, until they destroyed their own systems by going way, way, way overboard and creating life forms. And they used to entrap the souls. Once you get a soul to come in, it's possible to trick that soul into dying a certain way, in fear and ignorance, and then to recycle that soul back again. This is what many accuse the Christians of doing. So this is part of the bigger drama, is that different forms of consciousness and the souls are stuck and they don't know how to get out. It's very easy to get stuck and trapped in a life form or prison. So some souls will not come back. They're frightened. And they have this trauma of being enticed into a life form and then used in that life form. The concepts we are sharing with you are beyond how you understand reality works, but you will grow into the understanding. We are making it as simple as possible, but it can be a very complex process. Mr. Chet, would you like to add something about the soul? Is he here?
Yes, I am. Yes,
You don't have to, but people have great questions about it.
Yes, I guess maybe my concept is a little different in that I believe that the soul transcends all these extraterrestrials who essentially are in the third and fourth dimensions. It goes beyond that and into higher dimensions, and that we have a part of ourselves who can reach that dimension. And probably the Anunnaki do too, but perhaps they've lost that connection. And I think it's possible in humans to make that connection individually, collectively, but particularly individually, to something wider, greater, bigger. It's been brought up about prime creator, and we are all extensions of prime creation, of course. All life is related. So to me, the soul is that, I'll say it's that communication between these levels.
And that is well said, but we will say this. Part of the problem over the last 500,000 years, that's 500,000 years, is that the Anus have figured out how to police these dimensions and park various creatures or watchers or whatever in these dimensions and recycle humans out of fear or necessity or sometimes glory. They can trick you with glory.
Yeah.
And get you to stay lower. And so the larger picture is that all life forms could exalt to a much higher level, but it seems the Anus have tricked you and created these layers. You understand the Egyptian hierarchy where in order to go through, they have the Book of the Dead, and you have to go through the 12 gates and jump here and jump there and jump everywhere. This is how they're tricking you.
Yes.
These are all tricks. They want you to think, and they've set up all these labyrinths and layers and blocks and gates. They're confusing the heck out of you. So we will say in all truth that it's very few humans who make it all the way to the central soul, the higher self. Many of you, this is why this is so essential. You are not dying and going up to higher levels. And the reason the planet is full, and the reason many of you have great concern over this, is you have come back in massive numbers in a time of great freedom, including the internet, to attempt a feat that is an exemplarization of the soul, and that is to restore, for those who want it, we know the Anunnaki use that term stairway to heaven, but they have blocked off that stairway. And they consider themselves, Anu, the name Anu and heaven are synonymous.
Yeah.
Anu has taken the name of heaven. And so this is how they control even where the soul wants to go. And the ultimate is to restore an open corridor for human souls to get really in touch with freedom of choice, not to be recycled. It's an answer. Last question.
Would you say that's your objective with us?
Say it again, please.
Keys, would you say that's your objective with us?
Absolutely. Because once that is restored, you have stopped the tyranny.
Right.
And once that is restored, that will make a frequency. We are all about frequencies. We are not about revolution unless it's the mind. We are not. We look for no overthrowing. We teach you to outsmart, to out-frequency, to restore other methodologies. You are stuck in thinking there's only one road over the mountain.
Right.
And right now it looks as if there is one road over the mountain if you are taking a road. But how about sprouting some wings? And flying over the mountain. And then that way let those who want to fight over the mountain fight over the mountain. Flying over the mountain then puts you in a different probability. It's an example, but nonetheless. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Chet or Dr. Chet. Who has question, comment?
Peace.
I-
Lots of P's there. Let's hear one.
I'm Denise.
Who is it? Denise?
Hi, please, thank you for being here.
Who is it?
This, Denise.
Denise. All right, welcome. Loud and clear.
Okay, so this has to do with the financial status of the world.
All right, good. That's a good subject to add in here towards the end.
Yeah, and astrology associated with the timeline of everything. So if you do have money in stocks and bonds,
Say it again,
if
please.
you have money invested in stocks and bonds,
So if you have money invested in stocks and bonds,
right, and you get it out of the financial system.
what to do with it,
Yeah,
yes?
what to do with it. Don't want it in a bank, bury it in your backyard, or what do we do with it?
This is a good question, Denise. What to do with monies if you have it? Some people say, oh, we wish that was our problem. However, it is a challenge. What to do with it? What to do with it? First of all, we trust that if you have excess funds, you are not in debt. So if you have excess funds, pay off every single debt, live debt-free, owe nothing. Then number two, what's your priority to do with this wealth? Do you live where you want to live? Is your home comfortable? Do you have a means of boosting your electrical system if things go down? Very practical. You may want to invest in a solar generator. Unless you live in a highly cloudy environment, you can get some mileage out of this. It is a probability that you are going to be controlled by brownouts. You understand what brownouts are? The electricity only runs for a few hours every day. It's also probability that other people from around the world will go whizzy-bangy or bonkers, lose their noodles, and they will get possessed by entities who will get them to hack into your infrastructure systems to take down communications, water systems, air systems, all the electrics that you are dependent upon. So it would be a good idea to have some preparation, not out of fear, but out of the Girl Scout motto or Boy Scout motto, be prepared. And monies, of course, if you put it all in what you call paper money, it is fiat money. You want to have some paper money at home. Those of you who rely on your debit cards, your credit cards, you are going to get screwed. Those of you who think you run to the bank every time you want cash, it's not going to work. You need to have a stash of monies, at least a few $1,000s, in denominations of 50 or 20s and some 1s and 5s that you don't touch. And if that sounds totally improbable to you, unless you are under 40, that's even a shame. If you're under 30, we can understand it. But 30 and over, if you can't manifest $2,000 to use as emergency money and don't touch it, you've got a financial problem. And if you're older than that and you don't have that much cash, you really don't understand money. There's no reason to be poverty, because you are wasting your money on things you don't need. You are doing I want rather than what's my priority. You also would be wise to invest while the money stay very low in precious metals. We believe silver could have a very good investment return in the future. It is the poor man's investment at this time, because silver is about $15 an ounce. With $500, you can get a roll of, we forget how many ounces, 20 ounces or some such there, and buy it in $500 increments. Silver is going to go a long way down the road as a medium of exchange if and when things go kaputski. If they don't, you have something real. Silver is used in computers. It is also used in weapons. And this is why people are projecting, to some extent, if you go into war, that silver is going to be of great shortage. We are not encouraging you to invest for war. We are simply saying that silver is something real and affordable if you do not have a lot of money, and likely if the paper money starts crashing, these silver and gold coins will have acceleration in value. Gold right now is still reasonable. It is about 12 and a half an ounce. That's 1,200. If you have extra monies, find yourself a good financial investor or someone who understands coins. Not a financial manager, because they want to make money off of you. You want to buy coins, a bullion, or even if you want signed coins, you want someone that understands the field. And then you want to tell no one. No one. And you want to find a secure place to put these things. You also need to, on a very practical level, you are going to experience after the election, if not before, drastic increase in the cost of goods. Very basic things are going to, in some places, go short or become very expensive. Figure out what you use all the time. Toilet paper, tissues, soaps, laundry detergents. Think practical. Life is still going to go on in many, many places, but there may be shortages. There may be trucker, what do you call them? Not revolts, but strikes. Trucker strikes. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, I'm not going to do this job, we want more in this. So the chaos is not going to be so massive, but it's not going to be stable like it is now. And there will be places, in probability, where the shelves will be emptied and products will not be as available. And let's say the more affluent areas of population are going to probably be supplied first. The poorer areas, or the remote areas, are going to lose supplies. The coastal regions and the more density of population may have supplies, but you have all manner of people of economic strata. And if you are wealthy, living in a high dense population area with a lot of poor people, not good, not good, not good. They are going to get angry and they are going to roam. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is what some want to occur. So, what else, Denise?
That's pretty good, thank you.
Say it again, please.
Thank you.
That's it,
good.
all right.
Yeah.
That's it, all right. Good, good. Sorry to bring you this bad news, but right now the stock market boosted up a bit, and that's good. But understand, the banks are very close to admitting that they are in really, really bad shape. We believe we mentioned it, or our vehicle did perhaps, that the Deutsche Bank and Swiss Bank each from January 1st to early February lost at least a third on the bank bonds. This is really, really bad. Europe is in a big mess. Japan is already bankrupt. The Soviet Union is not doing well because oil is so low. China is a confusing mess. China is not going to save the world anymore. And lots of, Mr. Trump says, we're going to bring back all the businesses from China. The businesses are going to run out of China because it's finished. And the people are going to get very upset. And China is so polluted. And people are so sick. It's really not the place to be. It's one of the most exploited lands on the planet at this time. So South America, Mexico is not doing good, Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil. Look what's happening in Brazil. You're going to have Olympics there, the Anunnaki Games, and Zika virus is everywhere. You think people are going to go? It creates a lot of confusion and a lot of fear. And Brazil is broke, so is Argentina. So things are not so good on the financial level. And just understand that at the best there will be in the U.S. cutbacks. And you are already seeing the closing of stores, the closing of retail, and the advertisement is, oh, well, those things aren't needed anymore. Who wants brick and mortar? You can order anything online that you want. But what about when online goes down? And you don't know how to buy diapers? Again, don't get so dependent on the electronic world. There's going to be disruptions within it, either through hacking, through solar activity, or worst case basis, which is a lot that will prevent this from happening, someone detonating something in the atmosphere to create a pulse to blow it all out. There's lots of beings who help when it comes to nuclear detonations. And there are many, many, many stories from the 60s onward about nukes accidentally dropped, accidentally left. Almost. There are so many almosts. And they are thinking, well, how did this? We are so lucky. No, some forces watch this nuclear energy as is their duty, and they stop it over and over and over again. They have ways of doing it. Who has a question?
Peace, this is Michelle.
Michelle, yes, welcome.
Thank you. Since war has been ongoing for ages, I was wondering if, so most of us have it in our lineage, some closer than others.
What has been going?
War.
War, yes.
And since most of us have that trauma of war in our lineage, some closer than others,
Yes.
I was wondering if there was anything you would recommend beyond intention to heal that trauma of war.
You know, when you heal, as you understand, this is what all of this is about, healing. Healing happens when you revisit the situation. This is why there's been tremendous release for those sucked into Vietnam, even Korea, the other wars, even the Middle Eastern wars. They go back. And they go back to where the greatest trauma was. Of course, it's not there now. And they rewalk the footsteps. Now, of course, you are not going to all have the opportunity to do that. But you may find, especially with the planet Chiron, in the sign of Pisces, and it's got a few more years here in this sign, and then it will go to Aries, and everything will be very, very different. But you probably have about 5 more years of Chiron in Pisces. Chiron, the wounded healer. So wherever Chiron is, it's either wounding or wounded. Right now it's in Pisces. So it's wounding on a karmic level. And so people are recreating karmic wounds. And at the same time, people are healing karmic wounds. So you may find, Michelle, that you are out and about life and you hear about war, or you hear something, a movie, or you read a little bit about something, or something catches your ear, and it may trigger you. And you may think about the pain of those, the confusion of the young boys who fought the Civil War. Some of them who walked across states to get home. You may think about the bravery of what is called the turncoats in all the wars. Those who refused to fire their guns on the enemy because they understood that they were shooting at humanity. And they have been shamed and chased down as if they were betrayers. And so when you seek those memories out, go back and love and hug and hold any memory that comes up of any part of the soul family that has either been coerced into those situations or made foolish choices thinking, aha, I will go to war and I will be great, and then when I come back they will respect me. The person comes crawling back, unable to even speak of the horrors that they have seen. War must be banished. Then you will restore and restabilize Earth. And it is the Anunnaki who taught you war. You have petty scrambles, yes, of course, skirmishes. You lose your tempers. Tribes have fought tribes. This is over territory, usually, over war or stealing of women. This is, let's say, a lower end of human nature. But the glory of war, the digging into the earth to pull out metals, to make compounds, to make bronze out of copper and tin, to build steel and iron and to forge, and to make metals and helmets to provide the provisions for men to go out and rape and pillage and kill. That's war. That's the Anunnaki game, and they use you again and again and again and again. And you fall for it. And then now in this world they train you on video games. They train the young children to become desensitized, to shoot each other on games. Guns and weapons are the lowest vibes of the Anunnaki. They do not want you to understand that you have their power in you to rise above it. And this is what Enki wants, to some degree. This healing of this devastating wound of war. And yet what are all your movies about? Desensitizing people as things are blown up. And they say, well, if we don't have blow-ups and fights in a movie, no one will go to the movies. Hallelujah. When the movies and the TV ends on your world, you will know you have won. That didn't go over very well with you. When the movies and the TV end, you will know you have won because you will be in charge and no one will be programming you to be their puppet for war or debased sex. That's what we want to do. You did a good question, Michelle. Anything else?
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Who has a question?
Please.
Over here, please. Becky, we hear your name. Go for it.
Can you talk about water shortages? Like now
Yes, water shortages because of Neptune in Pisces and Saturn squaring it from the hot sign of Sagittarius. It's going to become very, very evident to people this year that water everywhere, but nary a drop to drink. Samuel Coolidge from The Ancient Mariner. What, 9th grade, 10th grade? Anyone remember that? There's messages everywhere. It's going to become a very big deal. There are many people who will find ways around it. Remember, catastrophe, difficulty, lack, these are what force creativity to come forward. And very simple solutions can be made. The people of, let's say, simple living have learned how to build a simple tube canister, filter water through sand. And sand can often be very effective to clean water. Which to clean the water is one thing, but to stop the pollution is another. And you have organizations, Halliburton, Monsanto, DuPont, some of the ones in Europe, Pfizer, the drug companies, they are simply after profits. And they hire people that are profit-driven who want to make millions, and they betray humanity. So this is going to become a very big issue, along with perhaps rising coastal areas. Florida is in big trouble. If you live along the coast in Florida, sell it now. But it is even not fair to sell it because someone else is going to get flooded out. They won't believe it right now, but there's going to be rising waters along the coastal regions in the next few years. It could be up to 10 years. It's going to become an issue of some sort. Clean water is an issue. We would say have some kind of filtration systems of sorts, whatever you want to invest in. This is going to be very, 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 very important. We mentioned the headlines of the other day. They let it out of the bag. 2,000 water systems in addition to Flint that are under questionable quality because of leakage of lead from the lead pipes. And the East Coast is the oldest part, New England is the oldest part of the USA, down into the South. Your systems there, some of them are very, very old. It is said, some are writing, that any house is built before 1986 could have the improper piping. And the system is, let's say, needing to be reinvented. Enki is the genius on water. And let's say he will be responsible for sending new inventions about the purity, cleansing of water. However, it will appear to be not some big systemic fix. It will appear to be, as we've said for years, local inventors fixing things, and as soon as you want to go big, someone wants to stop you. Start small if you are one of these inventors, and don't waste your time running around the world going to Bahrain or Dubai or looking for financing on Wall Street. You are a fool if you do this, because they are just looking to see who's got the latest invention, and then they want to screw you. And then they will send a new best friend or a new lover to distract you or watch you from having your invention carried forward. Remember, not everyone is who they say they are. Did you hear that? Yes. Not everyone is who they say they are. And if you have something that is going to raise a question, you may be watched by someone who will pretend to be your new best friend. Now we've got your attention. Good. We want you to stay smart and trusting at the same time. We want you to use this dowsing, and we want you to always check your belly. And we will say this: don't fall for any flattery. Unless it's from us, of course. We only throw a compliment out now and again. But watch these things. And water is going to become a bigger and bigger issue. If you live by water, this is good. But the feds are wanting to take over water. They want to they want to privatize water and have water to be, some speculate, the new gold. That water will become the new gold. Just remember that. Questions?
Please?
Yes.
It's Maria.
Maria, welcome.
Thank you. I was wondering if you could talk about the pineal gland.
What about it?
The secrets of the pineal gland in order to reach maybe heightened vibration.
Start tapping it. Just every once in a while. Knock, knock. Massage it, tap it. Relax. When you do some meditations, or meditation sounds so formal, when you do some do-nothings, we like that better. When you are doing your nothings, remember that's part of your assignment too, to do nothing, to relax, to get that chaise lounge. When you are doing nothing, bring your attention there. And it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. You can buy an indigo stone if you want, or to picture indigo here. And to start breathing, when you're doing your breath, focus here and start to call it into being. There's a screen there that you can activate. You can, some of you want to activate the body, but there are, we believe, a few CDs left in the back that are compilations of our energy exercises, where we say, close your eyes, follow your breath, and go inside the body. And we are going to take you on a journey through the third eye into the various dimensions. This is what the energy exercise CDs do. We are going to brag a bit, they are brilliant. They are ours, of course, so we are partial. But we have created words and ideas for you to relax and to use your imagination. Now, you don't have to use our voice and our words. You can make your own, but you must take quiet time and start to picture that there's a screen here. Or you can picture there's a bubble, and you walk into the bubble or walk into a crystal. And we have, in some of our exercises, said, oh, there's a walk in this crystal. There's a wonderful place to sit down. And you're going to start to launch from here. So if you are interested in doing inner activation, find either our energy exercises or guided energy exercises by others, or make your own to use the imagination and to open and activate these chakras. The pineal gland will take you outside of linear time, and you will be able to see visions of future, past, or even concurrent nows that are not around you. The third eye gives vision beyond linear time. That is a way of understanding. And stay away from fluoride, because that tends to make problems with the thymus gland and the pineal gland, pituitary, all of them. Fluoride does a number on this. Frankincense is a very worthwhile substance. Remember in this story that it's made up, but it's part legitimate. The three wise men, they are going to see the new little babe there, and they bring three valuable gifts. This is part of the real part of the story. They bring what? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gee, do you think you can manifest those? They would be good. Gold, even a small piece, is highly conductive, highly, highly valued and treasured. And gold is an effective shield against radiation, but it is also a superconductor of current. So to wear a little gold and hold gold on you can transmit what you have. Frankincense is made into, now the easiest way to use it. Oh, you can buy some and burn as incense, but the best way to use frankincense is to get a good essential oil of frankincense. Perhaps it will be 15 or 20 of your dollars or some such. Put a bit on your hand, drop on the hand, and you rub the hands together like this. You warm them up, and then you put them by your olfactory, your nose, and you take a few sniffs, and then you might put another drop or two, and you place it here on the brainstem, in the back of the neck, just below the occipital region. And you'll find that quickly it seeps itself into the body and into the brain, and it can create balance, strength, wisdom, and can open you up. Frankincense has been used also in the exiting process, where it's put on the various chakras to anoint them. The smell in and of itself can open you up and send you to a greater state of awareness. Learn to use simple tools. The essential oils, a very easy way to rebalance the body and to use scent and smell, not only to calm you down or brighten you up or to rebalance, etc., but scent can also help you travel to other lines of time and help you connect with your simultaneous or past lives. Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, very good. Very good. Who else? Go ahead. I have a, who are you?
I'm sorry, I'm asking a second question, so you can shut me down if you want. But my question is about...
First of all, you say, this is.
This question is in regards...
No, who are we speaking to?
I'm sorry. This is Rebecca again.
Rebecca. All right, good. What's your question? You see, the protocol's so simple. Hi, Peas, this is so-and-so. Then you proceed. You're wasting our minutes when we have to keep going after you. The clock is ticking. Go ahead.
Yes, it's in regards to the financial question. For people who invested all of their money to try and catch up on their retirement accounts, and that's where the majority of their funds are, and they cannot pull them out.
So people who have put their money in retirement accounts, are you talking about the
401k.
401ks, that's the word we were
You're
looking
not
for.
allowed to pull those funds out.
Without a big penalty. Until you retire, yes?
Well, they only let you take out about half of the amount.
Yes.
You can't take out the full amount even with the penalty.
Now, Rebecca, just as a personal question, knowing what you know now, would you have done that form of investment?
No.
Oh, good. So she learned a lesson.
Research afterwards.
Yes. And so you see that you are encouraged to do things. Oh, you have to do this, do this, do this. But this is, and the people who tell you this, they're just repeating stuff. But does it really work if things start crashing? No. So what to do with it? If you can't take it out,
I can only transfer it into other types of stocks and bonds and funds. I can choose different funds. It's about my only option, or take out half of it.
so you are saying that because your voice is not coming on the recorder and it's dead time, you have limited options. You can reinvestment into other stocks and bonds, but you can't really take it out.
Correct.
You know, one of the things that's going to shock people in this country is that those who have done the most work, who have gone to work, who've had good jobs, and invested in their, what are they called, IRAs and 401s and stocks and bonds and pensions and all this, this could all go kapooey. And it's that group of more, let's say, middle-class affluent workers who followed the rules and played by the game. That's going to be a big source of anger. Because some of this stuff is not going to be there for you. And it's already been recognized that the pension funds, people who invested in their pension funds, disappearing. Remember, the loans are being called in on all the oil investments. And all manner of people and banks. The people who took out the loans cannot pay because the oil is too low and fracking costs too much. And bank after bank after bank is going to go belly up because no one's paying the loans. We hear the beeper. Then in addition, you have over $1 trillion in student loans. 80% of these people will never pay those loans back. 80%. Why? Because there's too many that owe $25,000 or $50,000 and they don't have jobs. And they weren't really trained for anything. Bad parenting. Worse, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunties, and uncles co-signed those loans. You can see where this is going, yes? Are there good people in the government who see this and want to help repair it? Yes. Not so much in the government. Lots of good people who used to be in government, who are not there anymore, who have seen the travesty of what is occurring. And they know things have to be fixed. Greatest potential that you have in this country for disruption are two forces fighting for control, one that wants to restore and one that wants to continue to destroy. do understand that in the military, in government, and even former government, there are people who really care. They have families, they love this country, and they are devastated at what is occurring. Some of them in the military, of course, their plan is to create some manner of a coup. We will say that the takeout of Antonin Scalia was the beginning of one side attempting to dismantle the other. This is as much as we will say about it. You live in interesting times. That is what the Chinese would say. It is a curse and it is a blessing. But something our vehicle came across in China. Perhaps some of you have listened to our recordings from China. It was a privilege to be there. And there was a fisherman. And he saved the emperor's child from drowning. A humble man. And the emperor wanted to exalt the fisherman. So he built a bit of a shrine to the fisherman. And he engraved some words upon it. And it said, "Think deep, aim high." How's that for a concluding reminder of where to go in the ever unfolding now? Be smart, be humble. Be generous, be a bit skeptical. Be trusting, be aware. Realize no matter how aware you think you are, there's miles and miles and miles to go before you sleep. Bit of poetry there. Dear friends, we are there, we are here. Call upon us if you need assistance. Make good choices. We'll see you again around the cosmos somewhere, but more than likely right here in this seat in 2017 to further expand our stories in the wonderful place of Sedona, Arizona. We thank you, Miss Ruthie. We thank you, Chet Kalista, all the helpers, and most of all of you attendees. We are expecting the best out of you. Prove us to be correct. It has been our very great pleasure. Good afternoon. If clapping raised your vibration, you have done it. Good. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.